Hey, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and I'm excited about today's class because we are moving into the second of the yamas, or how we show up in the world, and going into Satya, which is truthfulness. So we're not using any props in particular. I have my blocks because I always have my blocks. So if there's anything that you like to have with you, please be sure to bring that along. Otherwise, don't worry about it. And we'll find a comfortable space to check in with our breath. So maybe it's seated, maybe it's reclined, maybe it is child's pose, maybe it's petting your best buddy like I am right now with Lionel. And just find a spot that is easy to check in with your breath. So as you make your way into that space, go ahead and settle in by maybe wiggling a little bit from side to side, and then we'll close our eyes as we start to tap into our ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose, taking this time to connect with our breath. It's our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, feeling the space right below the navel start to lift. As it draws upward, feeling an expansion through our bellies, side bodies, rib cage, and our breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. And then on our exhalation, we're going to feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, allowing us to use all three parts of the lungs. Our ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so we're going to hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat. It's kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose, so it's always encouraged to be able to hear your breath. And while you are tuning in, as I said, we've moved into Satya, which is the second of the yamas, and we're looking at it as I honor my truth. So, with a focus of what is true for you right now in this moment. So we're not talking about brutal honesty. It's about present moment honesty and what's true for you in this practice as you move throughout the practice, not what was true for you yesterday or what will be true for you tomorrow. So just listening and actually connecting with your body in a way that you do what you need in the moment. And though the concept is simple, it's not necessarily a simple thing to do. So feel free to back off or take a break and reconnect at any moment that you need to. Also, feel free to add on if that's in your practice today, because being true to yourself is listening to what you need no matter what the situation is. On our next inhale, let's find some movement. So we might find a full body stretch. We might find some movements from side to side in our child's pose, or we might be in the upright seated position, moving the spine around, moving the head around, or whatever else just kind of comes to mind as you check in with your body. And then we'll all bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice. And maybe that intention is Satya, or honoring our truth, and with that focus of what is true right now for you. Or maybe something else comes to mind that speaks to you in this moment. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then find some movement. We'll eventually meet in our tabletop position. So no rush to get there, but that's where we'll come all together onto our hands and knees. And if you get there and want to start to find some movement right away, feel free to do so. Maybe some lateral movement from side to side or some cat-cow movement. And then we'll go ahead and tuck our toes under as we make our way into our first down dog. So you might keep a bend in the knees as you bring your tail up towards the ceiling, kind of moving those hips from side to side. Maybe you start to bicycle the legs. And notice what your breath is doing as you come into this shape. If you started to hold it at all, turn it on as you inhale and exhale through the nose. Big breath in. Exhale. And then as we inhale, shift it forward into your plank pose, super strong. Keeping a nice long neck as you gaze towards the front of the mat. Inhaling. And then as we exhale, lower all the way onto your belly. So elbows will be in near the sides. As soon as we're all the way down, tops of the feet come in the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders as we inhale, lifting up cobra pose. And as we exhale, we'll lower. And we can continue to move through that at our pace, maybe changing something up. I like to come onto my fingertips in a wide stance and then bring in some shoulder dips here. Next time that you lower that forehead down, make your way back into your down dog, lifting up those hips and finding some movement again if you're still kind of warming up in this space. Big breath in. Exhale. On our inhale, shift it forward, plank pose. Exhale, slowly lowering. See if you can come into a hover here, chaturanga. And then as we inhale, we shift it forward, bringing the chest through into our up dog. From that up dog, lower the hips, walk your hands back to make sure your shoulders are back and your chest comes through, and then lift up those legs. Oftentimes, we don't do that little shift forward and then bring it through, so we might feel like our shoulders are rounding, and we want to make sure that we're bringing them back and then lifting up those hips. So you don't feel any discomfort in the lower back as you lift up those legs and just push into the tops of the feet. We can move into our down dog from here by either tucking the toes under and coming into it, or really push the mat away so that you engage the core so that you can roll over those toes and come into your down dog. Full breath in. Exhale. We'll do that again, so we'll inhale, shifting it forward, plank pose. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, see if you can shift it forward, bring the chest all the way through into your up dog. And then we exhale, down dog. From this space, go ahead and lift up the right leg. We'll open up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Staying, or we can start to make some circles, going in one direction, going in the other direction. And then as we inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale, knee draws the nose as we bring that foot all the way through, coming into our runner's lunge. So if you like to have your blocks to each side of the foot, go ahead and bring them there. And we'll start to shift forward and back from runners to a pyramid-like pose. Always have the option of lowering that back knee. Always have the option of lingering a little bit longer and creating a little bit more space, if that's what your body is asking. So, checking in with your truth, your Satya. Next time we shift it forward, hold it here, and we're going to sit into this side lunge. So sit into it, and then all the way onto your seat. So like literally sitting into it. And then we're moving off of our mat. So come to terms with that. It's okay. We're going to roll over the left leg. We'll see how much space I have right here. We'll roll over it, and then we're coming into that up dog. So that's what we were talking about a moment ago. So we lift up through the chest, lifting up those legs, and then we lower the seat back down. We bend the right leg and come back onto our mats, and then we twist the other direction. So we can hug this knee in, or we can use our elbows leverage here. Shoulders draw down as we lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, belly button to spine as we go deeper into that twist. Full breath in. Exhale. And then moving into wild things. So left hand to the outside of the left leg, right arm reaches up. We lift up those hips as we come onto the ball of that foot. Maybe we find some movement here this first time, bending and straightening the legs, finding some circles with the arm. And then we'll lift up through those hips, gazes up towards the fingertips. And then keep this arm up as you gaze down. Right knee comes down, left knee comes down. And we're set up for thread the needle. So we're going to lift up a little bit more as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder. And then tuck this right arm underneath as we bring that right ear temple onto the mat. And we can stay here, or we can walk those fingertips forward. Bring that arm behind the back. There's also leg variations that you might want to incorporate. So maybe extending that left leg out, reaching towards the big toe. Or if you're feeling fancy, maybe start to find some balance by bringing that leg straight back. So you do you. You take a full breath in. Exhale. And then left palm comes to the mat. Right palm comes to the mat. We'll come all the way up to kneeling so that we can bring the right foot forward. Back toes tuck under as we move into full Anjaneyasana, or crescent pose. So you can walk this foot out to the side. Arms can reach up and maybe find a little bit of movement here, or a little bounce here. Easing yourself into this first crescent pose. Inhale. As you exhale, plant your right hand onto your thigh. Really push down as you lengthen through those left fingertips, opening up a little bit more. And then we move into a twist. So bring that elbow to the outside of the knee. Hands can then come to heart center or towards heart center. As we work those shoulders down, maybe gazing past the right one. As we exhale, gaze down. Ground down through your back foot for sky archer. So we're going to straighten those legs, reaching for the right wrist here as we lean it back. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze towards the board. Pivot your toes to the back for arrow lunge. Now, I usually give you options with arm variation for arrow lunge. This is not the popular one. So we're going to reach those arms forward, but we have a little bit of movement that's coming into this. So we're going to bring that back knee in and maybe touch the elbow towards that knee before sending it back. And next time you bring it in, hold it here, tree pose. So bringing that foot anywhere along the inside of that left leg, and then the hands can come to heart center, or you might reach those arms up overhead, working those shoulders down as we lift up through the chest. Inhaling. As we exhale, bring the feet together, bring those arms down by your sides for mountain pose. Full breath in. Exhale. And then inhale, arms reach, gaze lifts. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. And then plant the hands, keeping your gaze forward as you step it back into your plank pose. We'll lower with muscle. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. And we exhale into our down dog. And if you know that you like props to one side, go ahead and take your blocks and place them to the back so that you have them available to you. And then as we come into down dog, left leg lifts this time as we open up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Stay or start to make your circles going in one direction. Going in the other direction. Inhale, we reach that leg up. Exhale, knee draws the nose, and we'll bring that foot all the way through for runner's lunge, where we'll start to shift forward and back from runners to our pyramid-like pose. And just noticing one side may have a completely different truth than the other side, right? Totally good. Next time that we shift it forward, hold it here, and then sit into that side lunge. We're going to lower that seat all the way down. So we're really sitting into it. And then we spin over that right leg, coming off the mat as we inhale into our up dog. And then we lower those hips. Left leg is going to bend as we come back onto our mat, and we twist towards the left, either hugging that knee in or using our elbow as leverage. Full breath here. Exhale. Go the other direction for wild thing. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up, coming onto the ball of that foot as we lift up the hips. And maybe finding some movement on this side here. As we inhale next, we lift up those hips. Toes is lifted. Both knees lifted, but we bring that gaze down. And then we bring the left knee down and then the right knee down as we open up a little bit more. And then tuck that arm underneath as we thread the needle here. So finding your version on this side may not be the same as the first side, but got all those same options, right? So see what works best for you in your practice today. Big breath in. Exhale. He's like, that hand looks like it should be petting me. And then right hand comes to the mat. Left hand comes to the mat. Come into that tabletop and all the way up to kneeling. And then left foot comes forward this time. We'll come into our full crescent pose, making any adjustments with the legs. And then reaching those arms up overhead, maybe finding a little bit of movement here. What you think, Lionel, huh? And we'll hold it here as we inhale. Exhale, bring that palm onto your thigh as you lengthen more to the right fingertips, moving into our twist. So taking that elbow to the outside of the left knee as hands work together, working those shoulders down. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we gaze down, we'll ground down for that back foot for sky archer. So both legs straighten as we take hold of the left foot. Exhale, gaze towards the back foot. Pivot your toes so now you're facing back to the front as you come into your arrow lunge with the arms extended forward. And then we can bring that knee in. Playing with this. It's fairly playful, right? Do you consider this play? Next time you draw it in, we'll move into our tree pose. So taking that foot to the inside of the right leg, anywhere along it can start at the base of the foot all the way up. And then once you have the legs set up, hands could come to heart center. Maybe you reach those arms up overhead as you lift up through the chest and drop the shoulders down. Big breath here. And then as we exhale, feet come together, arms come down by our sides for our mountain pose. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach, gaze lifts. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's lengthen halfway. And then we plant the palms as we step or float it back. Moving through our sun salutation A. But you can always skip that vinyasa portion and go right from your plank pose to down dog. And we'll take a full breath in here. Exhale, softening the knees. We gaze forward as we step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse. We'll reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float it back. Making our way to our down dog. In that down dog, full breath in. Exhale, softening the knees. We gaze forward as we step or float to the front. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float it. Making our way to our down dog or any resting position of choice. That is our warm-up for today. So how are we doing? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're new to my class, a lot of the poses that we do in the two main sequences that I teach are in the warm-up. So you're super ahead already. And I call my two main sequences peanut butter and jelly. So with each one of them, we do them 3 times. First time's a little bit slower. And then we pick up the pace more to a breath pace. And then at the end, we bring those two together for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich, which is my favorite part of the practice. So let's get started. We're going to meet in our mountain pose. And as we come into this mountain pose, go ahead and bring your shoulders up, back, and down. Really breathing into those side bodies, so feeling that expansion through the side bodies here. And as we come into this space, we're honoring our truth. And we are tapping into what is true for us right now. So being extremely present. On our inhale, we move into chair pose. So shoot your weight back into the heels and see if you can maybe bring those fingertips down as you sit back and then come into that chair. We're not here very long because we're going right into our twisted chair. So bring those hands to heart center and then we twist over towards the right by bringing that elbow to the outside of that right thigh. Keep shifting the weight back. And then see if you can kind of shift into that right side as you hover the left foot. Maybe you start to kick that heel towards your behind or work that leg straight-ish. Almost like you're in a revolved half moon. And then we bring that foot down. So if you fell a little bit, you're in the best place because that's where we're coming next. So we're staying in this twisted crescent. If you wanted to open up the arms here, you could. If you're feeling really fancy, maybe you could bring that arm behind you and work towards a bind here. And if you're playing with this for the first time, you'll probably want to bring that back knee down and then find your bind and then tuck those toes under and lift. Big breath in. Exhale, release any arm variation you have as you gaze down. and we ground down for sky archer. So we'll reach for that right wrist as we lean it back, breathing space in between each rib along that right side. Inhale. Exhale, gaze towards your back foot. Pivot to the back as we come into our arrow lunge. And we're bringing that knee towards the elbows as we bring it in for 3, for 2. 1 takes us to our tree pose, so finding your version. Maybe growing that tree. Big breath in. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Knee draws forward, and then we take a step back like we're coming right into crescent pose, but we move into exalted. So left arm is going to come down as right arm reaches up, so continue to soften through that forward leg. Feeling that space along the side body. Inhaling. Exhale, ground down. We're coming back to the front of the mat for half moon, so maybe we take our block with us, and then we open it up, reaching that left arm and leg up towards the side, flexing through that foot. You're placing a big footprint onto the back wall. 1 more breath in. As we exhale, lower the left hand. Left foot meets right foot as we find our forward fold. And that's what we've got for our peanut butter today. So no vinyasa in between. We make our way all the way back to the front of our mats. And then we inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist towards the left. So right elbow to the outside of that left thigh as we sit it back. And then we shift the weight into the left side, hovering that right foot, or maybe we kick towards the behind. Maybe we work that leg straight-ish. Inhale. Exhale. Let that foot come down as we find our twisted crescent. Maybe we have a different arm variation here. Maybe we don't. Maybe we lower that back knee. Exhale, releasing your arms. Gaze it down as you ground down for that foot. Sky archer, reaching for that left wrist as we lean back here. Inhale. Exhale, gaze towards your back foot. Pivot your toes to the back for that arrow lunge. We'll bring that knee in for 3, for 2, 1, moving into our tree pose. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart. We'll bring that knee forward as we step it back like crescent, and we move into that exalted. So right arm is down, left arm reaches up, softening that forward knee. Big breath in. Exhale, ground down through the back foot. Half moon at the front of our mat. So maybe we've got that block for us as we lift up the right arm and leg this time. Big breath here. As we exhale, right hand lowers, right foot meets left as we come into that forward fold. And now we'll start to pick up the pace on this. So we inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist towards the right. Weight into the right foot as we hover that left leg, or we can extend it right away. And then we bring it down for that twisted crescent pose. Grounding down through the back foot, we come into sky archer as we reach for that right wrist. And then we exhale, gaze it back. Pivot our toes to the back for arrow lunge, where we bring that knee in for 3, for 2, 1, tree pose, growing that tree. And then we step it back for exalted. So right arm is up as we lean in towards the left. And then we ground down, coming back to the front of our mat for half moon. And then left hand comes down, left foot meets right as we find that forward fold. And we go right to the other side. So we inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist towards the left. Weight into the left side as we hover that right foot, or start to work our way all the way back so that we come into that twisted crescent pose. Exhale, gaze down, ground down through the back foot as we inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze to the back. We pivot to the back, arrow lunge as we bring that knee in for 3, for 2, 1 takes us into our tree pose. And then we step it back as we inhale, exalted, left arm is up. Exhale, ground down as we move into half moon towards the front. Big breath in. Exhale, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist towards the right. We bring that weight into the right as we step that left leg back for our twisted crescent. And then we inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze to the back. We pivot it to the back for arrow lunge where we bring it in for 3, for 2, 1, coming into triangle pose. And then we step it back as we inhale, exalted, right arm is up. We ground down for half moon at the front, so left arm and leg lift. And then we exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the left. Weight into the left side to bring that right leg all the way back for that twisted crescent. And then gaze comes down. We ground down as we inhale, sky archer. Exhale, gaze to the back. We pivot to the back for that arrow lunge where we bring it in for 3, for 2, 1, coming into our tree pose. And then we step it back as we inhale, exalted, left arm is up. Exhale, ground down, coming to the front for half moon or right arm and leg lift. And then we bring it into our forward fold. How are you doing? I hope amazing. That's our peanut butter. So get maybe a drink of water or topo and towel off, check in with your breath, whatever you need, because it's about to be jelly time. So for jelly, we will meet in our down dog. And as you come into your down dog, we're honoring our truth with a focus of what is true right now. All right, so listening to our bodies. So check in with your breath. You've got this. And let's meet in our down dog. Are we ready to roll around? You know what? I'm going to bring my mat a little bit closer up. Because, I don't want to roll into the window. That doesn't sound fun. So let's meet in down dog. And we'll inhale, reaching the right leg up. As we exhale, bring that knee in towards the nose as we bring it all the way through for our runner's lunge. And then we sit into that right leg for that side lunge, coming all the way onto our seat. From our seat, we roll over the left leg, off of our mat as we inhale into our up dog. Exhale, lower those hips. Right leg bends as we come back onto our mat and we twist towards the right. Full breath in. Exhale. And then go the other direction for wild thing. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up as we lift up those hips. Gaze goes down as we bring the right knee down and left knee down. And then thread that needle, bringing the arm underneath. Taking a couple breaths here as you inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, bring that left hand in the mat, right hand in the mat, and we just tuck those toes under for down dog. All ready for this second side. So inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through for our runner's lunge. We sit into that left leg all the way onto our seat. And then let's roll over the right as we come into our up dog. Inhale, off the mat. Exhale, lower those hips. Left leg bends as we come back onto our mat. And then we twist towards the left. Full breath here. Exhale. And then go the other direction as we inhale into our wild thing. Exhale, gaze down. Left knee lowers, right knee lowers. And then we bring that arm all the way through as we come into our thread the needle. Big breath here. Exhale. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring that right palm into the mat, left palm into the mat, and we'll tuck those toes under for down dog. All right, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, runners. Exhale, sit into it all the way onto the seat. And then we roll over that left leg as we inhale, up dog. Exhale, lower those hips, right leg bends as we come back onto our mat. And then we twist to the right. Full breath in. Exhale. Go the other direction as we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, bringing those knees down, and we thread that right arm underneath. Full breath in. Exhale. And then we come into our tabletop position where we'll tuck the toes under, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, runners. Exhale, sit into it. We roll over the right leg as we inhale into our up dog. Exhale, lower those hips, left leg bends as we come onto our seat. And we twist it towards the left, full breath here. Exhale to wild thing, right hand down, left arm reaches up. And then we bring those knees down as we thread the needle, bringing that left arm underneath. Full breath in. Exhale. And then coming into that tabletop position, we'll tuck our toes under, down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we'll bring it through. Inhale, runners. Exhale, sit into it. Roll over that left leg as we inhale, up dog. Exhale, lower. Right leg bends as we come back onto our seat and we twist towards the right. Inhale, coming into our wild thing. Exhale, bringing those knees down and thread that right arm underneath for a full breath in here. Exhale, and then let's bring those hands onto the mat, tucking those toes under as we find our down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, runners. Exhale, sit into it. We roll over so that we inhale into our up dog. Exhale, lower those hips. Left leg bends as we come back onto our seat and we twist towards the left. Inhale, coming into our wild thing. Exhale, knees come down and we thread that left arm underneath for a full breath in here. Exhale, and then hands come onto the mat. And, maybe you should sit back because that's our jelly, which means we've made it to my favorite part of the practice. Are we excited? It is peanut butter and jelly time, so we're bringing these two together one last time. Let's meet in mountain pose. As we get there, we are honoring our truth. What is true for you right now? Put a big smile on your face. We're going to do this one last time. You got this. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the right. Weight into the right leg as we bring that left leg all the way back for that twisted crescent. And then on our inhale, we ground down through that back foot. Sky archer, reaching for the right wrist. Exhale, gaze to the back. Pivot to the back with that arrow lunge as we bring the knee in for 3, for 2, 1, coming into our tree pose. And then we step it back as we inhale, exalted. Right arm is up as we lean in towards the left. Exhale, ground down. Half moon to the front, so right hand is down, left arm and leg lift. Open it up. And then bring that left hand down. Bring that left leg down. We come right into that runner's lunge as we inhale. Exhale, sit into it. We roll over that leg so that we come off our mat, inhaling into our up dog. Exhale, lower those hips. Right leg bends as we come back on, and we twist to the right. Inhale, coming into wild thing, left hand down, right arm reaches. And then those knees come down as we thread our needle, bringing that right arm through. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. And we're ready for our second side. So we inhale, chair. Exhale, we twist to the left. Weight in the left as we bring that right leg all the way back. And then we ground down as we find sky archer pose, reaching for that left wrist as we lean it back. Gaze down, pivot your toes to the back for arrow. And we bring that knee in for 3, for 2, 1, coming into our tree pose, growing that tree. And then we step that left foot back as we inhale, exalted. Left arm comes up overhead. Exhale, ground down for that back foot, moving into our half moon at the front of our mat. So right arm and leg lift. Big breath in. Exhale, right hand lowers. Big step back into our runner's lunge as we inhale. Exhale, sit into it. We roll over that right leg, coming off our mat as we inhale into our up dog. And then lower those hips. Left leg bends as we come back on. We twist towards the left. And then we inhale, wild thing, lifting up those hips. Where those knees come down. And we tuck that left arm all the way underneath. Full breath in. Exhale. And then hands come into the mat. Tuck those toes under for down dog. And then we can bend those knees as we make our way to a seat because you did it. Amazing work. So proud of you. So take a moment just to sit in this space. Close the eyes, really focused on our breath. So slowing it down, particularly if it felt like it was just going crazy at the end there. And as you close down the eyes and check inward and slow down the breath, just give yourself a few moments to let all of that practice sink in. If there's anything that you like to do that's upright in your practice, this is a great time to do it. And you can also end your practice in an upright seated position, like a meditation type of seated position. Or if you want to come onto your back for full Shavasana, then feel free to do that. If there's anything else that you need to feel complete in your practice, please do that now. This is the time to do it. Otherwise, we'll allow our breath to be soft and our body to be still as we come into this final pose. And just taking a moment to have so much gratitude for showing up to your mat, so much gratitude for all the hard work that you put in, and so much gratitude for this feeling, which is a result of those things. And be so proud of yourself because you did amazing. Know that I'm so very proud of you. And then just allow yourself to be as we find Shavasana. As always, stay here as long as you like. But if you're ready, you can start to find some movement. We'll all meet in a seated position of choice where we'll bring our hands to heart center, tucking our chin under. And just want to thank you so very much for joining me today. Thank you for practicing your Satya and honoring your truth. And with a focus of what is true for you right now, please take this with you as you leave the mat. That's when these practices are most important, is when we leave our mats. And until next time, namaste.